For centuries, humans have shared a deeply ingrained instinct. The moment geopolitical conflict erupts, we rush to gold as the ultimate financial safe haven. And on the surface, this makes perfect sense. The initial fear of war acts like a violent storm, whipping up massive, immediate spikes in the price of gold. Look back to 1999, right as the Kosovo War began. The sudden onset of conflict sent terrified money straight into the gold market, driving the price of gold up almost instantly. But if war is a guaranteed ticket to wealth, why do some of these investments ride the wave for years, while others crash straight back to the bottom the moment the initial shock wears off? The truth is, the short-term panic of a conflict rarely tells the whole story. You could have bought gold on the very first day of 2 different wars in recent history, and ended up with completely opposite bank balances 10 years later. If war's terrifying headlines are just the surface storm causing the waves, what unseen forces dictate the long-term water level of the global gold market? Betting your savings solely on a war headline is a dangerous gamble. To survive, you must look beneath the surface of the conflict, directly into the deep financial environment underneath. The answer lies in the massive, invisible tides of global finance, specifically 2 main forces: the interest rates set by the U.S. Federal Reserve and the overall strength of the U.S. dollar. This diagram illustrates an economic ebb tide. When the U.S. dollar is strong and bonds pay reliable yields, money naturally flows out of gold because gold does not pay you interest. We saw this exact environment pull capital away from the gold market during the conflicts in 1999 and 2014. During a strong ebb tide, even a violent geopolitical storm cannot keep gold prices afloat. The water simply recedes too quickly, leaving investors stranded in a long declining market. Now, contrast that with a flood tide. In 2001, following the devastation of the September 11th attacks, the Federal Reserve heavily slashed interest rates to rescue the American economy. That combination created a perfect environment for growth. You had the intense fear of a major conflict, paired with a massive wave of cheap money flooding the system. That pairing launched a decade-long rise in the price of gold. For 30 years, this was the reliable rule. War provides the initial spark of panic, but American monetary policy provides the long-term fuel. Fast forward to today. We are watching severe, devastating conflicts unfold in Ukraine and the Middle East. But right now, we are witnessing a massive contradiction. The U.S. Federal Reserve has aggressively raised interest rates, creating a severe ebb tide. By all traditional logic, gold prices should be tumbling. Instead, they are breaking historical price records. To understand why the water is rising against the tide, we have to look for the deep-sea whales. Today, those whales are the global central banks. This map shows how many of these nations are executing a calculated strategy to detach themselves from the U.S. dollar. To do this, they are buying up massive amounts of physical gold to hold inside their own borders. The sheer volume of these purchases acts like dropping millions of tons of solid rock onto the ocean floor. It physically displaces the water, pushing the baseline price floor permanently higher regardless of what the Federal Reserve is doing. Because these giant institutions are buying so aggressively, they have completely overpowered the traditional rule that high interest rates suppress gold prices. The structure of the market has mutated. The institutional hoarding of physical gold by entire nation-states now overrides standard economic gravity. So, the next time a breaking news alert flashes across your screen announcing a new conflict, it is tempting to follow the crowd and buy gold immediately. But buying on day one is usually just trading on the blind panic of the crowd. It rarely reflects the true sustainable value of the investment. A smart observer looks at 3 true indicators: the interest rates set by the Federal Reserve, the actual strength of the U.S. dollar, and the massive, quiet purchases being made by global central banks. You cannot simply stare at the dark clouds gathering on the horizon. You must measure the pull of the tides and track the immense weight of the whales below. While distracted traders get tossed around by the chaos of a sudden storm, the professionals are calmly calculating the depth of the water beneath their ship. Because understanding those hidden, powerful financial currents is the only way to chart a truly safe course through an unpredictable global economy.